Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about E3 2018. I know it's only February and it might be a bit too early to talk about this year's conference, but I think it's never too early. And we've got a lot of exciting things to talk about because I think E3 has changed so much over the years. And I've been kind of making a video about, at least one video about it every year. So I think it's also a bit time just to reflect and at the same time look forward to what we can expect from this year's E3. I'm not going to go into each single press conference because that would really be a bit too early. Anyway, yesterday we got some news around E3. EA has announced that EA Play is back. So away from the main conference, they will show their games. They've confirmed that they will show Anthem, BioWare's new game. And I don't know how aware you are of this, but it's really the game where it's kind of stand or fall for BioWare because Mass Effect, we've all heard it, we've seen it. It didn't go down too well. I don't think it was a massive commercial success. So they are really at the crossroads right now, whether they can sustain themselves as a studio. And I think only if Anthem will be successful, they can really do that. If you ask me, from what I've seen so far, I don't have a good feeling about it, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of pressure now on BioWare and then everyone in the management and just the decision makers at BioWare, and they basically need to generate a lot of money. That is the objective. They need to become profitable. So they look at all these microtransaction concepts that do get a lot of hate, but at the same time return an incredible amount of money. They look at games like Destiny, like these kind of games as a service concept, and they're going to try to squeeze this game, Anthem, into this sector simply to make it financially profitable. And whenever, that's my opinion, you approach a game or any passion project, something that you want people to experience with passion, like a video game, and you approach it from the we have to make it profitable, that's the main objective, most of the time this goes wrong. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea to bring this like a passion project to the table that's based purely on profit. So I think Anthem, that's just my prediction. I might be completely wrong, and I hope I'm wrong because I love BioWare. And when we remember their earlier games, whatever it is, the Mass Effect games, I loved those. Those were just their own universe. They were really working as their own game. Do you know what I mean? Like you couldn't say, oh, Mass Effect, that's a game like anything, because there was no real game like Mass Effect. It was very unique, this kind of space opera RPG type thing. It was a great game with good story. But I'm afraid that we're going to say Anthem, oh yeah, that's just like Destiny, or that's just like this other game. And it loses its uniqueness and its BioWareness. But anyway, fingers crossed for BioWare, and we will see it at E3. So that's exciting. We're going to see Anthem. EA Sports titles are going to be shown, new EA games, and a new Battlefield. OMG, people freaking out. Everyone's going crazy. People get excited about Battlefield games. So there's a new one this year. And you know what my prediction for that game is? It's gonna have a Battlegrounds mod. It's gonna have some kind of Battle Royale permadeath mod. And who would have thought? Generally, I think that's a trend we're gonna see at E3 2018. A lot of games are gonna have Battlegrounds mods or Battle Royale mods or however you want to call them, because that's the big thing now, and everyone's jealously looking over to Korea where PUBG is making a lot of money, a lot of the money, and everyone's very jealous and they want it. So they think, if they are doing a Battle Royale mod and our game has a Battle Royale mod, then we both make a lot of money. Genius. Put it in the game, Steve. And so they will. And we're going to see a lot of this kind of crap. And I think, it's my theory, don't know if we're going to see a new Assassin's Creed. I think probably not this year, like a new trailer. Because they already announced there's not going to be a new Assassin's Creed this year. So even I think these kind of games are going to get Battle Royale mods, right? Where they're like, oh, Assassin's Creed Battle Royale. It's gonna be ridiculous. And the funny thing of it is, like, it's not even about the Battle Royale mod. It just shows how scared they are of actually innovating. And I'm just predicting here that this will happen. But you could implement so many much more clever, innovative adoptions, right? Like, for example, instead of just saying, oh, it's a Battle Royale adoption and it's a copy of basically what PUBG does, we do a co-op game and you go through and you do these missions, but at some point, maybe some people in your team get these offers, they can work for the opposite side, and then in the middle of the game you find out that one of your mates actually was playing for the enemy, and it brings out these kind of rivalries in your team and you have to then hunt each other down or whatever. That sounds like an exciting concept, and it's not as boring as like just a standard single player game. Or maybe even you take a single player experience, but then you weave in these multiplayer parts seamlessly. We've seen it. I think Dark Souls did stuff like this, right? Where suddenly other players joined your game. And I never played that game, so I don't know how it worked exactly. But more stuff like this, right? During the war, you're in the war game, and suddenly you discover another squad. You're like, oh God, are those guys over there actual real players? Oh, and then you can either partner with them or fight against them. So you break open these kind of conventional single-player gameplay experiences a bit more. That's just, one or two ideas what they could do, make interesting stuff, but instead it's not going to be that. It's going to be all about the Battle Royale mod, and everyone is Battle Royale now, and it's not about that. It's about unexpected gameplay. It's like about bold changes to gameplay that we know and taking risks. So I think we will mostly see classic Battle Royale adaptations because they don't want to take any risks. That's what they don't want. They're like, no, guys, understand that Battle Royale PUBG sold 60 trillion copies, okay? We can't take any risks here. We got to do the same thing, right? That was an authentic recording from the EA boardroom, by the way. Disclaimer, it wasn't. But I think these are the kind of conversations that are actually happening behind the scenes, because these guys just like a profit maximization, panic in their eyes, if they don't take all the money with them. And then it only leads to really an oversaturated market, where you have, it's like this MOBA situation where suddenly MOBA games were successful and you had the League of Legends and the Dotas and whatever, millions of players. And it was like, oh, yeah, MOBA. We also do MOBAs. It's great. It's also a MOBA. You see, guys, everyone, hey, look, we've got one. Everyone, nobody gives a crap about it because they're already the two market leaders. In that point, it was Dota and League of Legends. In our case, it's Fortnite and PUBG. And I'm not saying they own the market, and I'm not saying it's bad to have competition. It's always good to have competition, but I think there are gonna be so many games that just fail on the start because there's literally no innovation, and all they want to do is just copy these concepts, and consider it nearly like a new genre, right? It's a new genre, the survival, open world, battle royale genre. It's ridiculous, but I think we're going to see a lot of that. Then, moving on, we got the floor plans. I don't know if you saw this. There were floor plans for this year's E3 released, and Sony and Nintendo, at least, judging from these floor plans, will have the biggest presences. Look at that. Big footprints there for those two. But then what we notice, Microsoft, at least in the main event hall, have a very small footprint, much too small for, the size of their corporation. And then when there were videos going around where people, conspiracy theories, oh my God, Microsoft just a small footprint. Microsoft then came back and said, no, it's not how it is. They said these plans are not accurate and Microsoft will be present in a big way, quoting here. So I think what it's going to be is going to be similar to the EA Play scenario, where they go out of the main conference, get their own space, and then maybe shuttle bus people to and away from the event all the time, or something like this. Because you pay these quite horrendous fees, I think, to be at the convention. And maybe also you don't want to be just 1 out of 20 players. You want to be the big player. You want to be EA or Microsoft, or you do your own thing. I can really see that happening. So it's quite ridiculous. So Microsoft's going to be present in a big way. Don't worry, Xbox fans. It's all good. I think this year's E3, again, and it has become kind of a tradition, we're going to see loads of awkward moments and just poor attempts of big corporations trying to communicate with their consumers. We see it every year. Somehow these game companies have no idea who they're talking to. That's just how it feels. There are so many cringy, painfully cringy stage demos, right? And let me tell you, I've worked in the process of creating large events for big corporations, okay? That was my job in the past. I used to do that. And if you see behind the scenes how these kind of events are planned and when they are rehearsed, how every movement, every gesture has to be planned and controlled, and there's absolutely no freedom in these stage demos. If you've seen that, then you kind of understand why they are and why they're as cringy as they are, and also why you have these fails where this YouTuber, I forgot his name, but he had to do this introduction, I think, for the new Need for Speed game, and it was just unbearably cringy. When you looked at that, it was painful. Like, it was just pure pain to look at. So you get these scenarios because these corporations just really make a very uncomfortable environment for anyone to talk freely in. So we will see loads of awkward moments, I promise you that. And to be honest, at this point, I'm kind of looking forward to it because it has become part of the E3 tradition. Activision Blizzard made over $4 billion on microtransactions and DLC in 2017. So I think with those numbers, we will definitely see more microtransactions. Is going to be a big trend. But at the same time, they're not going to come out at E3, the press conference, and be like, and it has microtransactions. It's going to be hidden, but I think it's going to be something that nearly every game has now. Because when you look at these numbers, $4 billion only on DLC and microtransactions in a year, that is a significant sum of money, and that amount of money is too big to say, you know what? We're on the side of the gamers, and we don't care about the money. We will just not put any microtransactions in and give you the full game upon release. Nobody's ever going to say that. If someone says, do that, or take $4 billion, you know the answer. I know your answer. Don't fool me. Everyone would give that answer. So microtransactions will be in pretty much every game, I think, that we're going to see and that will be announced. So before I kind of come to an end on this video, I want to lose a few general words about E3. I've kind of touched on it on the beginning of this video, but E3 really has changed. I'm still excited and I still enjoy watching these press conferences and just the general hype. I'm a big fan of this kind of stuff. To be honest, I'm not a consumer. I don't buy many games upon release. I'm more interested in the whole stories around it and E3 as an event in itself. And every now and then we do get a nice announcement, so that is cool. But in the past, E3 kind of used to make these promises, right? And we got really excited. For example, Watch Dogs or something. They showed this first trailer and we were like, wow, that looks so cool. We've never seen this game. This is absolutely amazing. When that trailer ran, the internet imploded. Now we get promises, and we've been disappointed so many times that we are just kind of skeptical about. We're just looking at it as sarcastic observers, basically. And we're skeptical towards everything. I mean, look at the games we've gotten. Watch Dogs, I just spoke about it. Major disappointment, right? I mean, yes, if you liked it, that's cool, but the general reception was not great. Till this day is not very great. Or all these Ubisoft games that we seem to get every year, right? Yes, okay, here it is. It's an Assassin's Creed game, and it's a little bit different, but it's basically the same. And here is Far Cry, and here is Wildlands, and basically all it is just like another open world game with cluttered maps with loads of icons that you have to run off and do loads of small missions, basically. And in the process of these games coming out every year, we've seemed to really lost the strong story element. These games used to have quite strong cutscenes and narratives built around them. Now it's just, oh yeah, there are 89 outposts on this map. You have to free them all. Go out, fight the bad guys. And it's like, is there no other story built around it? No, you're guerrilla. You fight bad guys. Go. So we're kind of losing the story elements. No Man's Sky, another major disappointment, like on a massive scale where everyone was so hyped. So after all these years, we just don't trust the excitement anymore. And I watch these press conferences at E3 now with a very different mindset than I did 5 years ago, where I'm basically just skeptical. Or all these Kickstarter things, that were promised and that then take like 6-7 years to see the light of day. I'm very skeptical. I'm still hyped and I still watch and try to cover as much as I can of the E3 stuff, but it's just changed. It's not the same anymore. And most people just wait for awkward moments anyway, so they can make memes from it, right? So yeah, somehow E3 has changed. And also another thing I touched on earlier, these publishers and developers try to be so super serious about their products. When they pop up on stage, you have all these rehearsed lines and you have call to actions for pre-orders, do this now. You have terribly staged demos where developers try way too hard to get into the zone and make everyone cringe. Everything has to be epic and unique. And it just seems like there's such a massive misalignment of what gamers really want and how you should talk to gamers and what companies like Sony or Microsoft think they want. And at this point, most consumers are just so aware of marketing bullshit, and they reflect on it and turn it into memes, and it's just a joke. And compared to 10 years ago, you just can't run the shit anymore. As a big corporation, you have to change your tone of voice, how you speak to consumers. You can't be so cringy and ridiculous and just be like, oh yeah, we speak to the young audience, we need a YouTube influencer on stage. Box ticked. It's like, that's not how this shit works, honestly. They try so hard to be cool and authentic, and most of the time it just fails miserably. And just these corporations seem to refuse to adapt to that change, right, that they need to do in order to keep up with the times nearly, right? They try to keep pushing their old traditional marketing strategies, but people want more edgy things. People want unexpected things. They want you to show balls, right? They should want you to give the game to the community and let them mod it. I mean, look where Skyrim is right now. That's not just because Skyrim was a great game and still is a great game, but it's because people give it into the community's hands, or Bethesda gives it to the community's hands, and they can mod it, they can play with it, they can make it their own. The game doesn't die. Everyone loves the original vanilla Skyrim, but now everyone can do with it whatever they want. It lives on forever, basically. There will still be Skyrim fans in like 30 years, I'm telling you. People who still mod that game. So these companies have to adapt their language. They have to think about how they communicate. And maybe we see some change in that this year. Maybe we will see it, but I don't think so, because it follows all these E3 press conferences and how, you know, companies like Sony, Microsoft, and also Nintendo communicate with their fans nearly follows a manual, right? They have like a recipe that they follow every year, and you can't break free from that. And it's just like, it often feels to me like these kind of quite fearful presentations of, oh my god, the slightest mistake, you know, they will execute us in public if we make the slightest mistake. That's how it feels. But that's not the case at all, right? We love you, Sony and Microsoft. We want to see cool stuff, so just chill and show us the cool stuff. And if there's no cool stuff, then tell us why. Maybe be eye level, be normal, you know, be approachable like a normal person. I know you're not, I know you're a massive corporation, but if you want to talk authentically, people make mistakes. People fuck up sometimes. You know, people talk shit at times. So it's fine. Relax. You know, show some more balls. Jesus Christ. Generally, we are kind of at a crossroads with gaming. And I made a video about this in the past, actually, where I've basically broken down how, in terms of gameplay, we've basically seen it all. Right? And I feel that a lot of gamers are tired of ever repeating experiences, trailers that promise something new, something innovative, and then the games that ultimately end up being just a repetition of what we already know, if you know what I mean. I also spoke about earlier with like the Ubisoft games, which are always a repetition of something we've already played before. It feels always like, I've played this game before, but it's a different setting, but it is the same game underneath. So I think I want to see innovation on that end, right? And it comes back a little bit to the Battle Royale stuff I spoke to in the beginning, because in my opinion, that was quite innovative, how they condensed down the survival DayZ concept into like a 30-minute experience that really works in terms of gameplay loop. It's fascinating, you know, it really works, and it's successful for a reason. It really is just an innovative, fresh gameplay method that just works. And my question is, can Ubisoft, for example, show something exciting and new that goes beyond just another open world Ubisoft game? Can they show us something beyond Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, or Wildlands? But not Skull and Bones. I've seen Skull and Bones. I don't count that as innovation. That is just, you know, taking the freaking Black Flag ship stuff and putting it in a separate game, all right? That's not called innovation. I want to see fresh games. And with titles like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Wildlands and stuff, they can't really innovate because, again, these brands sit where they are. You know, they are what they are. You can't amend that. So we nearly need a fresh IP. We need to see something from Ubisoft where they're like, here's a fresh IP, a new idea, a new concept. You're going to play this in a different way. And Ubisoft, again, is just an example. I want to see this from other companies, especially Microsoft. I mean, it's not looking good, right? They are far behind in terms of sales with their Xbox compared to the PlayStation. They really lose credibility. I do appreciate that now they start bringing a lot of games to the PC. As a PC gamer, obviously, amazing. But nonetheless, they really need to step up their game, and we need to see innovative, fresh shit from them that kind of everyone wants, right? Like PUBG, everyone wants that, and that's why they bought it to be exclusive on their console. Actually, I heard this theory that Microsoft might be considering to buy Bluehole, the PUBG corporation, so that they basically can own PUBG on the console completely. But I'm not sure it's a good idea because it runs pretty crap from what I've heard, and it's not a good game on the Xbox. So I wonder whether they shoot their own foot with that. If they announce that and everyone's like, yeah, it's been pretty shit over the last 6 months, so fix it. Who knows? But yeah, I want to see that at E3. I want to see innovation. I want to see fresh gameplay ideas. I want to see risks being taken because we are fed up with stuff. We've had it all the games that we envisioned as kids where we're like, oh, I want to do this and fly around and jump. We have gotten these games. We've been there. Now we need to think beyond them. Let's think a little bit about games. Just before I close this video, a few games that I might be excited about, might be seeing at this year's E3. A new Elder Scrolls, that would be amazing. I mean, there were already rumors going around, and I hope it's not like a remaster or like, hey, we're revisiting Morrowind or something. It's like, no, give us something else, like a complete new chapter in the whole Elder Scrolls story. And I'm pretty sure they're working on it. It's just a question whether they show it this year or next year. Depends how far down the road they are. Borderlands 3, I'm pretty sure we're going to see this. It's been, happening behind the scenes for a long time. It's basically confirmed. I think Randy Pitchford showed some art at some point. It was like kind of weird hidden, not really announcement, but it was pretty clear that it was from Borderlands 3. The Division 2, I think we're going to see. And I like The Division. I don't mind The Division. I think it's a fun game. I love the environment. It was like a game that lived off the environment nearly. I know, it's another Ubisoft game. Every now and then I can play them. I can't play them for very long. But Division, I still haven't finished it. I think I'm about 2/3 through. But it's still a game that I enjoy. So let's see what they do with Division 2 and whether they might take out the bullet sponging, because that sucked balls, right? That was so much better in Wildlands, in my opinion, where you could take out enemies with a well-aimed headshot. Let's see. Division, I'm also curious about the setting. If they move away from New York, where they're going to go. The new project by CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077, and I hope we're seeing gameplay, because we haven't seen anything from this game, and we all know how groundbreaking and amazing The Witcher was, The Witcher 3, and we all loved it. So maybe Cyberpunk 2077. I'm excited. I just like the whole feel, the look of it, what we've seen in this art, what we've seen in the art. It looked great. And then the last game that I'm quite curious about is Death Stranding. Obviously a PlayStation exclusive. I'm not a PlayStation fan, but I still want to see where Kojima takes this, right? Even I'm not going to buy the game or play the game myself, probably. It's a really exciting concept. And I just hope it doesn't disappoint, right? Because all these trailers look really weird. They're just weird, man. But they look great at the same time, really innovative. And I just want to see where he takes it. How will gameplay match up with these trailers, right? How will these two things come together? And can it live up to the hype? Let's see. Guys, there's so much to talk about. You can see it's only February, but E3 is coming our way. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'm really curious to hear, what are you excited about? Are there any games that you hope to see? Leave it all down in the comment section. I'll definitely read it all and comment back where need be. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, share it with your friends, get a few more views on this. That would be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, I hope to see you in the next video. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, do all the good stuff. Follow me on Twitter, link down in the description. Take care, and I'll see you next time. I'm out.